What's going on, everybody? Good morning. Hope you guys are doing well today. It is the weekend. It is Saturday. We have made it, and we've got more draft stuff to get to. We will be doing that later today. But before we get into that stuff, I do want to take a video here to talk about some Seattle Seahawks news, or at the very least, Seattle Seahawks updates. Maybe it's a little getting ahead of ourselves to say it's news yet. But over the last couple days, there have been a couple of encouraging mini updates on a couple of Seahawks players that a lot of Seahawks fans are thinking about right now. This video is sponsored by Prize Picks, more on them later. So, first, I want to go ahead and post this, which was up yesterday. So, the tweet is from Docs, New Era 72, of course, but the subject of the post is from the Instagram account of Tory Horton. So Tory Horton posted this image on his Instagram stories, I believe it was yesterday. And the caption here is, "Me dead? Nah, I'll see you real soon." Now, obviously, this isn't a concrete medical update, and who knows where this goes from here. We don't have a lot of context other than just this image. And by the way, you can go to Tory Horton's Instagram account for at least a little bit longer. It'll obviously get deleted at some point because it's a story, but you can go to his Instagram account and confirm that this is actually there. I did it. So obviously, we don't know a lot here, but here's the thing that I can't help but think about. We were told from Mike McDonald himself said that he did not believe that Tory Horton would be doing much of anything in the spring. And it's April. We are still in spring, and I believe that McDonald even indicated that he didn't think Horton would be doing workouts. Now, I believe the exact phrasing was that he wouldn't be participating in the off-season workout program. That may still happen. That starts, I think, in a little more than a week. So maybe that's what he meant. But I think there's also an implication there that Horton is not capable of doing workouts. So if that was the implication, then this video, or this Instagram story, does constitute some reason to believe that he is ahead of schedule. So if that is indeed the case, and this is indicating that after a pretty frustrating injury that he had at the end of the year, followed by a frustrating set of setbacks that prevented him from getting back on the field, spilling into the offseason, maybe we're coming out on the other side good and things are better. So that's definitely nice. I know that this team doesn't necessarily have a ton of room for Tory Horton at the moment because they did re-sign Rashid Shaheed and Cooper Kupp is still here. But at the same time, Horton does bring some stuff to the table that I think this team will value on some level, even if they don't end up making him like a 600, 700-yard receiver, and he just ends up being a modest part of the offense. There's still something that he can do. I imagine that he's still better than a guy like a Cody White. So it's still good news if he's actually making his way back here. Do you like sports? If you do, then the best way to make them even better and more exciting is using Prize Picks, where it always feels good to be right. Prize Picks makes daily fantasy simple. Just pick more or less on your favorite players' projections and build lineups with a few taps. Whatever sport you're into, Prize Picks gives you a fun way to stay locked in while you're watching. I've had a great time using Prize Picks so far. It makes this daily fantasy thing so easy and fun, and it even makes watching the games way more exciting. And with the cool social feeds feature, you can share lineups with your friends and even follow partners to tail or fade their picks. Obviously, we're in the NFL offseason right now, but we've got basketball, baseball, hockey, all kinds of other stuff, so don't be afraid to test things out in whatever sport clicks with you. You can even pick multiple sports in the same lineup and sweat everything at once. And don't forget about team picks, where you can pick winners, spreads, and totals on any major game. So, download Prize Picks, America's #1 sports app. And don't forget, Code HMA, that is HMA, gives you $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize picks. It's good to be right. And remember, always gamble responsibly. So, yeah, Tory Horton seems to be headed in the right direction. Now, McDonald did tell us that there was an expectation that Horton would be ready to go by the season start anyway, and that was even under the more pessimistic timeline. So it's not like we were really worried about Horton, but at the same time, we kind of were because things kept getting pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed. It started to feel like he was just never going to be healthy again. So getting an update that indicates that maybe he's ahead of schedule, that's a lot better. All right, so that's the Tory Horton thing. There's one more thing I want to go over in a similar vein. So Mark Martinez has the tweet here, but the tweet is a retweet of a video from Kenny McIntosh's, I believe, Instagram account with a workout. So this was a couple days ago. So if you're wondering why you hadn't heard about this, it already kind of came and went. I didn't feel like making a video about it at the time, but I do want to address this. There is a video on, I believe it's on Instagram, on Kenny McIntosh's Instagram. Maybe it's TikTok, I'm not sure. But there is this video of McIntosh doing some workout stuff. So I've talked about Kenny McIntosh before. I've wondered if he was ever going to really be able to get back on a football field, or at least any time in the next year. I did wonder if maybe the cumulative effect of two massive injuries might just basically wipe out his career. And some of the things that John Schneider had to say about McIntosh earlier this offseason, it kind of sounded like he was prepping us for the inevitability of Kenny just not really making it back in time for 2026, which is the year where, if he's ever going to be needed, it's now. He definitely needs to make himself available this season because of the absence of other players that were taking snaps that didn't even allow him on the field. If McIntosh can come back and contribute meaningfully and do positive things for this team in 2026, that is significant, because I'm not expecting Charbonnet to be overly effective this year, even when he does come back. But if you're getting McIntosh, you're getting Emmanuel Wilson, maybe you're getting Halani, maybe you're getting something from a rookie, it starts to get to a place where you can piece it together. And after getting updates from Schneider that kind of sounded like McIntosh was a long way away, it's good to see that maybe he's not so far away. Now, there's a big difference between being able to work out and play football. Like, there was a clip about maybe a couple weeks ago of Najee Harris running on a treadmill, and yeah, he's running on a treadmill, but he looks extremely slow by the standards of an NFL running back. So we got a ways to go, but it is a step in the right direction. And it does give us some reason to believe that maybe we're going to have these guys in 2026, Horton and McIntosh. And both those guys can help this team win. Both those guys offer something that we could use, especially when you lose K9 and you're not going to be able to directly replace K9, but maybe you can kind of recreate him using other offensive weapons. Okay, so that's going to do it for this video. I'll do draft stuff later. Not sure exactly when, but stay tuned. Go Hawks. Everyone have a good start to your day, start to your weekend, and more stuff coming soon.